Sri Lanka won the toss and decided to bat first, and on the evidence of the 50 overs that we've seen, it's a decision that's proven to be right. They've got more than a competitive total on the board right now, 264 for 7, all thanks to that 100 by Angelo Mathews. 113 is what he got, ably supported by Tillakaratne, a half century to Tillakaratne as well. It wasn't all hunky-dory for them to begin with. At one stage, Sri Lanka were 55 for 5, and then there was that 124-run partnership between Mathews and Tillakaratne, which is what has propelled Sri Lanka to 264 for 7. Who got the wickets for India? I don't need to tell you that. It's that man once again in Jasprit Bumrah. We'll also talk about how the two Indian spinners performed. You're watching ESPN Cricinfo Matchday UK 2019. I'm Nikhil Naz in the company of Ajit, Agarkar, Dan Vettori. Also joining us live from Headingley right now is Murli Karthik and Alexis Nunes. But first, I'll go across to Tillakaratne Dilshan. Dilshan at 55 for 5. Sri Lanka, would be fair to say, more than happy where they've reached?
Yeah, definitely. The thing is, when you start, we are struggling a bit, 50 for 5. Then after that, Angelo and Tillakaratne, the most experienced two batsmen in the side, they batted really well. They paced really well the inning. They used their crease. I think it's both players batted really well. They put the pressure to bowlers, especially Bhuvnesh and Kuldeep. They both bowlers. Today is not bowled well. They use maximum out. Whatever time these two bowlers come, they put the pressure to batsmen. I think it's really good to see Angelo and Tillakaratne come to their form, but a little bit too late now this tournament. But very good sign for Sri Lanka the future. I think they batted really well after 54-5. We know, and we end up to 64, but a little bit to 20-30 runs is short this wicket. But I am happy whether they batted in the middle overs throughout this series. This is the best middle 30 overs bat, I think, Sri Lankan team.
Oh, 20-30 short, he reckons. Dan, you reckon the same thing? Because I'm just looking at the records on this ground. These sort of totals are winning totals at Headingley.
I think it's a really good total. I think you're right in saying from 50 for 5 to where they got to is fantastic. I think you saw the way the Indian bowlers are successful. Jadeja, I mean, he spun it from ball 1, and he's not a huge turner of the ball, but had conditions that allowed him to do that. So I think the wicket is probably a 260, 270 wicket as par. Obviously, if they got off to a better start, then it may have been a total that they could have achieved, but I think they're going to be pretty happy coming off. They know they're going to have to bowl well against a very good Indian batting lineup, but I think it's a really good total. Also, the pitch wearing down. I mean, everyone's talking about this being the same track that was used in the last game as well.
Yeah, for some reason they keep using the tracks. I'm not sure why. Not fair on both teams, really. Yeah. I mean, if it is going to deteriorate, toss shouldn't play a big part. I kind of agree with Dilshan that they would have ideally liked 280, 290, but not from where they were. I think that's a really competitive total that they've got to. They're playing 5 bowlers as well, so they'll all have to bowl well. That's the thing. I mean, India found it challenging as soon as 1 or 2 guys, the batsmen got after them. Suddenly puts a lot more pressure on the team. So Sri Lanka, everyone will have to bowl well, and I don't think they have the necessary spin that you perhaps required on the pitch.
I think that's key. They've only got the one spinner. Van der Sar not been there. I think that'll play a big part. That'll make it a lot easier for India in the chase.
We'll just take a look at how the innings progressed there for Sri Lanka. Remember, as we've been saying, 55 for 5 they were. But then, even though they didn't lose too many wickets there, in overs 21 for 30, they consolidated a bit. But overs 31 to 40 is where they accelerated. You could see 73 runs there, losing 1 wicket, and also getting plenty there at the end, 41 to 50. Let's now take you live to Headingley. Alexis Nunes and Murli Karthik join us live from there. Alexis, I've seen that you've changed your location from the morning. Is it all down to people mobbing Murli Karthik as they were in the morning?
I think we could dig ourselves into the deepest hole here, and India fans will still find a way to mob Murli Karthik, because that is just the superstar that Karthik really and truly is. It's an absolutely
come on, India!
Here. As you can see, the India fans are very happy and very excited, so much so that Karthik actually got in on the action. We have a couple of the super fans here, and they even had their versions of the World Cup trophy, and Karthik grabbed the trophy and took a picture with him, and he said, quote, look, it's already in our hands. So Kartik getting a little ahead of himself here. But Kartik, does that mean that you're happy with what you saw from the Indian bowlers today?
In a bit, yeah, yes and no, because yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bhuvaneshwar Kumar possibly didn't have the kind of day he would have wanted because he's such a good bowler. Because at one end, Bumrah was bowling as he does, not giving anything away, and then at the other end, it was just a bit of an off day for him. Didn't get his lengths right today on this surface because it is a slow surface, and if you bowl too short or give a bit too much of width, then batsmen are going to chance upon that, and that's exactly what happened with Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. Jadeja, I thought, bowled brilliantly, fielded brilliantly as he always does. Should have had Angelo Mathews on 67 in the 37th over. That would have been a huge turning point in the game because he was possibly the only guy who was being the fulcrum over there. Yes, that partnership actually brought them back. 55 for 5, and then the way Tillakaratne batted. Tillakaratne actually took the onus on himself that he has to score quickly because Angelo, as we all know, takes time to get going. But then he did play really good shots. Will Sri Lanka be happy? Absolutely. Will India be happy? I'm pretty sure that in the middle overs, they were possibly missing another wicket-taking option because Bumrah can only bowl 10. How many times can we? How many overs can he bowl? So
if
possibly
only you could
Kuldeep.
clone him.
Yeah, I still feel Chahal and Kuldeep are the two best spinners in the middle overs. Jadeja will do a brilliant job. As I said, he should have had the second wicket. So yeah, middle overs possibly for me, India could have had a few more wickets.
Well, let's just talk about that name right there that Nikhil had mentioned earlier on, Jasprit Bumrah. I mean, how much more can we say about this man? Just his opening 2 overs, really and truly. We even saw a couple of the posts about the stats in his opening 2 overs on social media, and I was just like, wow, this is absolutely outrageous. Just again, on song for India.
Yeah, on this surface, there were a couple of deliveries which literally hustle through. It's like a slingshot, just pitches and just goes really quickly. And again, I for one, when he runs around, when there are those close ones where he has to dive, I feel Jasprit Bumrah, please don't dive. You are invaluable to the side, so please don't dive. That's all I'll say.
That's all he'll say. So he's not taking a diving Bumrah, and he's not taking people interrupting our shots today.
Well, that's right, Alexis. That death stare from Murli Kartik scared a couple of fans there. I saw they're not going to be coming back now and troubling you guys. But thanks so much for joining us. We'll try and get back to you. Interesting points there. Murli Kartik talks about the 2 spinners. I'd like your thoughts on, Jadeja coming in. He still feels that Chahal and Kuldeep are your 2 best spinners. But after today, he set the cat amongst the pigeon, Jadeja, with that performance.
Not at all. I think if the 2 spinners have to play, Kuldeep and Chahal have to play ahead of him. I think Jadeja becomes... You saw today, as soon as the conditions were in favour, he's a different bowler, even though he's just got that 1 wicket. A little bit unfortunate with that drop catch.
Yeah.
I think Kuldeep and Chahal would create few more chances otherwise. In my opinion, they should anyway play Jadeja, play the 6th bowler, because I think India is going to need that 6th bowler. I don't think 5 bowlers, Virat Kohli is going to be comfortable come the semi-finals. So you could see from ball 1, as soon as there was a little bit of grip in the surface, he's just as dangerous as any other bowler. But I don't think that will necessarily be the case in the semi-final. It will be a better pitch, but India needs 6 bowlers. I don't think 5 bowlers is... even if you're bowling first or defending, I think it's a very risky ploy for India.
I think Ajit's exactly right. I think when you go to a semi-final, it's going to be on a flat wicket, and you need to be able to take a lot of wickets. You need to break through that England batting lineup that looks like they're going to play against them. So Kuldeep, Chahal, primary wicket takers, Shami, Bumrah, and I think Jadeja can complement that as well. And obviously Hardik Pandya comes in and out when he needs to.
Okay, just let's take a look at Bhuvaneshwar's performances. We are hearing from our analyst, if you go with 2 spinners, they should be ideally Kuldeep Yadav and Chahal. But then if you really want to play Ravindra Jadeja, how is it that you fit him in that playing 11? One option could be, as Ajit pointed out, maybe Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, and we're taking a look at his performance now. This is Bhuvaneshwar Kumar versus the rest of the Indian bowlers in this particular game, and in those 10 overs, he's gone for 7.30, 4.62 is the cumulative total of all other bowlers there, and even take a look at the number of boundaries that he's given. Ajit, what do you think's gone wrong with him? I mean, we understand that middle over has not been his best time, but even the beginning with the new ball, it's not happening.
Yeah, no, firstly, if Jadeja plays in place of Dinesh Karthik, a batsman, not Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. I think Shami comes in place of Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, make it 6 bowlers. Look, he's just had a tough day, Bhuvi. I think he's been out for a while with injury. Sometimes takes you a little bit of time to get back to your best rhythm. The only thing that I picked on in the first 4 overs particularly, there were so many slow balls bowled by him. He's a better bowler than that. I think there was a 5th over bowled by him, seam up, got a little bit of shape, beat the bat I think a couple of times, and I think that just cost him 1 run. Perhaps couldn't find the right length for the left-hander, and that created a bit of room because he was a touch short to the left-hander earlier on, went for a few boundaries, which, I mean, you could see there was too much of slow ball. I think it's still a new ball. You could see Bumrah from the other end. I know Bumrah's got a lot more pace. He's a bit more awkward. But you still want to try and bowl your stock ball as a frontline seamer. You don't want to go to that slow ball option too quickly just because, the pitch is supposed to be a bit slow. So that's the one thing. I think maybe it's a confidence thing. Maybe you want to try and you're not as confident as he normally is to try and put the ball seam up on a good length, which is more than capable of. So that's only runs. You can have tough days in one-day cricket, which can happen with anyone. It's happened with him unfortunately today. But that's the one thing he needs to improve with the new ball. Try and trust his stock ball a bit more.
Okay, he talks about that particular over where he went back to his earlier plan of pitching the ball up, trying to swing the ball. But even when he was trying to swing the ball, we saw the control really not there. May have been because there was a lefty and a righty on the crease. But why is it that that's happening with someone like a Bhuvi who you knew his strength was to really have good control?
I think it's probably because he's been out for a little while. I think we always associate Bhuvaneshwar with being so skilled with that swing bowling and so accurate, and his first 4 to 5 overs was most difficult, and there's been numerous top order batsmen who have had an incredibly tough time against the swinging ball in Bhuvanesh Kumar. He's been such a great bowler for India and Sunrisers in the IPL, and we've seen him perform so well. And in a lot of ways, rather than denigrate him, it's about how well Shami's bowling as well. Shami has been fantastic. He's bowled fast and he's taken wickets, and I think leading into the semi-final, like Ajit says, they need wicket takers, and that's Bhuvaneshwar might not be quite at his best at the moment because he's been out with injury, so they've got to go to their top guys, the guys that are in most form, to try and take wickets. And I think the balancing act that Ajit's talking about is the right plan for India moving forward. Okay,
there are more than questions than answer for the Indian team. Hotstar top comment is also on that, and I'll try to put that to the two analysts that join me in the studio. And this is Farid from Srinagar, and he asks, have India confused themselves about their best team before the semi-finals? I'm pretty sure they're not going to go with 5 bowlers against England, so why not try the same combination today, Ajit?
I think Chahal's been injured or forced sort of replacement, so that spin option has gone out of the way. You had to get Jadeja in, and they played that extra batsman. If you play 6 batsmen, you can only play 5 bowlers. I think that's why I keep saying. I mean, Jadeja could be your 7th or the 6th batter, or the guy who sort of Hardik Pandya bats at 5, Dhoni at 6, and him 7. And then you have the 4 bowlers. That's the only way India can have that, unless they go back to Kedar Jadhav, who can give them a few overs and bat at number 6 or 7, which I'm not sure that they'd go back to. I think Ravindra Jadeja is more than a handy batsman. If he's coming in at number 7, he doesn't have to do a job of a frontline batsman, but can still contribute with the bat and be a proper 6 bowler. So that's the way I'd look at it. Again, you'll have to go and see what conditions are on offer and who they are playing at that point, but you need a 6 bowler.
Okay, let me take that question to Alexis Nunes and Murli Karthik. Alexis would love Karthik's view on that. As Ajit says, India probably would need to play those 6 bowlers. For Ajit, you take Dinesh Karthik out and bring Ravindra Jadeja in. But Karthik, would then Indian batting lineup be a bit thin? How do you see that?
Yeah, you can think of that. I'm a bit surprised with what has happened with Kedar Jadhav, to be very honest, because Afghanistan game, he got runs when India was in a tricky situation. And then against West Indies again, he got runs. Yes, against England, when the captain was asked the question about the intent from the 2 not-out batsmen, the captain said that, look, they did try their level best, but the English bowlers bowled really well. But if that was the case, then why was Kedar Jadhav dropped in the next game and Dinesh Karthik brought in? So it's a bit surprising over there that they've suddenly gone in for Dinesh Karthik, dropping somebody who's got runs back-to-back games and possibly not out in the other game. You can say whatever you want to say. I definitely feel India, whatever we have seen of them in the last 2-3 years, they do want their batting options. So Hardik Pandya as the third seamer. Yes, they won those 2 spinners, but I personally feel, yes, you won those 6 bowlers, but whom do you bring in? That's the biggest problem. Kedar Jadhav has not been used, but he was a handy batsman down the order. His average suggests that he's averaging close to 50 and does bail teams out of tricky situations. I definitely feel that he needs to come back because Dinesh Karthik has done exceptionally well for whatever he's been asked to do. But I still feel that you still have the option of Kedar Jadhav and his bowling if need be. For me, the only thing is how do you balance the side out if you want those 6 bowlers?
Well, Karthik, on the topic of runs, of course, and batsmen, with the one now in this match, of course, we heard from Tillakaratne, who had said that he probably would have liked 30 more runs, but we heard from the guys in studio that said that Sri Lanka should feel happy with this one, or at least decent with this one. But sometimes the lower the target, it seems to be the trickier one. I remember that in your wish list, you said a lot of the stuff had to do with the batting for India. So what is it that you want to see now?
I just want the proper clinical chase. That's all you want because of the fact that, again, we've been over-reliant on those top 3. Dinesh Karthik has not had a proper hit. MS Dhoni obviously has been amongst runs. Rishabh Pant, how can he temper his game at number 4? Yes, he's a talent who will play shots, but sometimes it's the situation. You can have all the shots in the world, but the situation gets the better of you. So what does he do? So again, you just want this team because it's not going to be that every time you win the toss and you bat first. There are going to be times where you have to chase come the 2 important games if we make the final. So it'll be interesting how India goes through the process of chasing down this score.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go put back on my bodyguard armor so that I can protect Karthik as we try to walk back into the media center without him getting mobbed. If you guys see us in the post-match show, then you know I've done a good job.
All right, I trust you to do a good job, Alexis Nunes. Thanks so much for joining us, Murli Karthik. Go enjoy the game. But we'll continue our discussion because, as Alexis were talking about that target, it could be a very, very tricky total. Let's take a look at this very interesting graphic, and this is across this World Cup. Only once has a team been able to successfully chase a target in excess of 250. We saw Bangladesh do that versus the West Indies. Dilshan, to you, looking at that record, now you have to be a bit more optimistic and not think that Sri Lanka 20-30 shot because most teams have struggled to get that sort of a total.
Yeah, because I mentioned that one, we are playing 4 fast bowlers and 1 part-time bowler. We are genuine spin in the middle. All the bowlers have to bowl well. We have to defend this 260. Thing is very strong batting lineup India have, and wicket is look good. For all the fast bowlers have to use their cutters and slow bouncers. That's why I mentioned 20-30 runs short because we don't have a proper spin in the side. All the teams have proper spin in the side. They bowl well in the middle. That's why I mentioned we have to bowl well definitely, and that 30 runs definitely should cover from the fielding side. They have to field well. Every chance they have to take. Every runs we have to stop, defend this 260. I know India very strong batting lineup. That's why I mentioned 20-30 runs is short.
Yes, India does have a very strong batting lineup. As far as the Sri Lankan team is concerned, they've got that one spinner in Dhananjaya De Silva. Dan, we've seen Dhananjaya start with the new ball against most teams. He's done rather well as well. Not versus India, I reckon. Firstly, they've got 2 right-handers, and Rohit just loves batting against spinners to begin with.
No, I don't think so. I think he'll be used during those middle stages. They're really going to rely on Malinga and his experience and getting them through there. They're going to hope for Pereira to come on through those middle stages, use a lot of slow balls, a lot of cutters, like Dilshan said. So they almost need their fast bowlers to act like spinners to make up for the fact that they don't really have spin in their resume today.
All right, we'd have to just see how those 5 bowlers for Sri Lanka performed. Remember, for India, the 5 bowlers sort of did the job. Bhuvneshwar Kumar, the only one who went for plenty. That's all that we have for you if you're watching us on TV in the Caribbean. Okay, but we'll continue our discussion on ESPN Cricinfo Digital. One thing to now really watch out for is Lasith Malinga. We probably are seeing him for the last time in a Cricket World Cup. That matchup, Rohit Sharma getting a lot of runs, Lasith Malinga with the ball. It's Mumbai Indians versus Mumbai Indians.
Yeah, I think it's pretty sure that we are seeing him for the last time in the... Okay, what a performer he's been for Sri Lanka. Yeah, I think Sri Lanka would know that if they can somehow prize out Rohit and Virat, that suddenly that total starts looking like a 300. That's how good those two have been, and they've carried India's batting throughout this World Cup. I know there have been contributions from KL Rahul at times. Rishabh Pant had a nice innings in the previous game. but that top order have been so reliant on Rohit and Virat. Sri Lanka would somehow want to try and find a way past those two earlier on, and then becomes more than a competitive total. I think it's still a pitch where bowlers can make life difficult if you bowl well. The tough part for Sri Lanka is they're just playing with 5 bowlers, so they'll all have to bowl well.
One of those 5 bowlers is Lasith Malinga. He sometimes counts for 2 bowlers. That's how good and effective he is. This is most wickets in Cricket World Cup history, and he's in that list of top 5. Lasith Malinga, as you can see, at the number 4th spot, having played in 27 matches there, 55 wickets at an average of 21.8. I don't know if you've got the figures for Malinga versus India, but if there's one team that's enjoyed playing against Lasith Malinga, that's the Indian team. So that would give a lot of confidence to the Virat Kohli team.
Particularly Kohli. Kohli's played him so well. I think where other batsmen have struggled around the world, Kohli's found a method to really deal with them, and I think he's passed that on to the rest of the Indian batsmen. So a lot of teams have that fear factor around Malinga, and because of his amazing record and how well he's done in World Cups, but India's probably the exception to that. I think they feel confident around the way they're going to play him. Doesn't mean Malinga can't have a good day, but I think India walk into that with a little bit more confidence than most other teams around the world.
Just to reiterate, Ajit, that's what I was talking about. I don't think there'd be most teams where he'd have that economy of over 6.
Yeah, I mean, even towards the end of the innings where he's been lethal, India's usually found a way, but you've got to remember he got 2 early wickets in that 2011 World Cup final. If he can do that today, I think Sri Lanka, will be very happy. I mean, forget looking at those numbers. I think if he can get a couple of early wickets, I think they'll fancy their chances today.
He's bowling well too. That's the main thing. He's bowling very well at the moment.
Yeah, he didn't have a great start to this World Cup, but in the last few games has come into his own and has been picking up a lot of wickets for Sri Lanka too. Meanwhile, just a reminder, we join ESPN's Isha Acton, the winner of ESPN Cricinfo Visit Britain Biggest Fan Challenge, Veronica Jose, as they jump into a water taxi and hit upon a slice of Mumbai in the beautiful city of Leeds.
It's me, Isha, here in Leeds for the ESPN Cricinfo Visit Britain Biggest Fan Challenge. I travel for stories, and what better place to start our story in Leeds than here in the heart of the city for a water taxi ride.
Open storage, but it's on display, so it means these 2,500 objects can be seen, but they make these particular patterns. These patterns, sometimes arms and armour in the great stately homes of Britain used to be arranged like this in a display in the 18th and 19th centuries.
So we had a lovely look around the Royal Armouries, and now we're going to continue our tour of Leeds on foot. Well, here we are at Headingley in Leeds. Which Indian cricketer was the first overseas player to ever play for Yorkshire?
It's got to be Sachin Tendulkar in 1992.
Exactly. Let's go find his picture on the Hall of Fame.
This is what we were looking for. 1992.
Right, Veronica, now it's your turn to educate me. What does Bandobast even mean?
Oh, so it's a Mumbai slang of saying preparation.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we're going to start there, then we have a surprise in store for you. We're actually heading to a restaurant which will have some food from your home state. It's me, Isha, here in Leeds, wrapping up for the ESPN Cricinfo Visit Britain Biggest Fan Challenge. I hope you guys are enjoying this series, so until next time, it's a bye from me.
All right, in just about a little while from now, the Indian batsman would be out chasing that total of 265 set by the Sri Lankan team. Dilshan, I'll come to you. We were talking about Lasith Malinga, and we all know that this is going to be his last 50-over World Cup. But is it the last time that we're seeing him in an ICC tournament? What is the noise back home, or will he be available then to play the World T20?
I think each want to play T20. If I'm a captain, I want to play in at least another 1 year. His experience we can use at the bowlers. But definitely, Lassie is going to miss for not Sri Lanka, all world cricket. He missed everyone for Lassie. He done a great job past 10-15 years for world cricket. Definitely, we are going to miss him.
All right, one final comment, Ajit. India, as we were talking about earlier, you said they would have liked to have batted first, but now that they're chasing, there's one little gain for them to have had, maybe chase a total and win. That might give them confidence going forward, semis.
Yeah, I think a win will give them confidence. You don't want to lose a game and go into a semi-final. Doesn't matter how good a form you're in. And it's a good opportunity. I think the score is well within reach. If they can keep wickets in hand, they'll have to bat well though. I think it's still a tricky pitch. Every now and then the ball is holding up. They don't want to lose too many early wickets. I mean, that's a given. But yeah, so it might be a challenge. I might prepare them well if they can get past this score.
All right, plenty to look forward to if you're an Indian fan. Of course, that total, if the Indian team can chase that down or not. A few other things like KL Rahul's form, we'll see that he'll be out to bat soon. And then Dinesh Karthik batting at number 7. How does that pan out? The next 50 overs are coming here.